Okay, today we're doing a math lesson 3.11, problem solving, add and subtract money. Our goal for the day is to learn a strategy of making a table to help you organize and keep track of your bank account balance. So if you have a checkbook or a debit card when you get a little older, you will be able to keep track of your money. So here's our problem. At the end of May, Mrs. Freeman had an account balance of $442.37. Since then, she has written a check for $63.92 and made a deposit for $350. Mrs. Freeman says she has $729 in her account. Make a table to determine if Mrs. Freeman is correct. What do I need to find? What do we need to find?
If her math is correct. Account means
Go ahead.
if her
Balance is correct. Right, so if she did her math right, and if her account balance is correct. Because she doesn't want to be writing a check or using her debit card if she doesn't have money in that account, because there are penalties for that. And it costs you more money in the long run. So here we go. This is what you need to write. Okay, the next question is, what information do I need to use? What will you need to know?
she has an account balance of $440.
Okay, so her starting balance. And then what did she do?
She read check for $63.92.
And she made a deposit. Can you tell me what happens to the bank account when you write a check? Does the bank account grow or increase or decrease? Tegan? Decreases when you write a check. What happens when you deposit? It increases. Very good. Those are two things you need to know. So I need to use what they're calling the starting account balance, which is the $442. You don't have to write that part. And the amount of deposit and the amount of checks. Now the next question is, how will I use this information? So what did we say we would do if we wrote a check? Would we add or subtract to our account? Subtract. And if we made a deposit, we would add. Okay? So I need to make a table and use the information to subtract the amount of the check and add the amount of the deposit to find the correct balance. Okay, now we're looking at the table on page 147. This is the table that we're going to use to help see if Mrs. Freeman's bank account balance is correct. Okay, so we're going to go take her May balance, which was $442.37. We're going to subtract the check she wrote, $63.92. We're going to do some regrouping. 7 minus 2 is 5. We regroup our 2 to a 1. That gives us 10. 13 minus 9 is 4. Use your decimal place. Regroup your 4 to a 3. That gives you 11. 11 minus 3 is 8. Again, we'll have to regroup because we can't have 3 minus 6. So 13 minus 6 is 7. And then bring down your 3. Let's see if we can't tidy up this 4. Okay. So after she wrote her check, what was the balance of her bank account?
$378.
No. 45 cents. Okay, then she has a deposit. What are we going to do with that deposit? Add it or subtract it? Add it. That would be like if you went to work and you got paid $350 and you took that money and you put it in the bank. Okay, so if you add 350 to the 378.45, you would have $728.45. So what was it Mrs. Freeman thought her bank account would be?
$729.45.
Is Mrs. Freeman correct?
No.
No. So Mrs. Freeman's correct balance then is 700. $728.45. Okay, down at the bottom it says, how can you tell if your answer is reasonable? What have we been doing to see if our answers are reasonable? Estimating, okay? So I can use estimation to determine if my answer is, okay, so how we know our answer is reasonable is I can use estimation to determine if my answer is reasonable. We've been estimating in our other lessons. Here's a new problem for us. You should be on page 148. This is about Nick. Nick is buying juice for himself and 5 friends. Each bottle of juice costs $1.25. How much does 6 bottles of juice cost? Make a table to find the cost of 6 bottles of juice. First, what do I need to find? What is it we need to know?
How much does 6 bottles of juice cost?
Cost of 6 bottles of juice. Next is what information do I need to use? What do I need to use to find those costs?
Each bottle of juice costs $3.25.
The cost of each bottle of juice and what?
6 bottles of juice.
That he's going to buy 6 bottles of juice. Now, how will I use that information? Remember, watch our strategy today to make a table. Okay, so we're going to make a table. What are we going to do with the amount per bottle? We're going to add that or subtract it? We're going to add it. How many times are we going to add it? 6 times. So I will make a table and then add the amount per bottle until I find the cost of 6 bottles of juice. Okay, so you should have a 2-column table by 7 rows. The top box is for your labels, bottles of juice, and total. Then you divide the rest into 6 rectangles, 6 rows, and since we're buying 6 bottles, we number it to 6. How much does 1 bottle of juice cost?
$1.25.
$1.25. So if I have $1.25 and I add one more $1.25, what do I get?
$2.50.
$2.50. If I add $1.25 more, what do I get?
$3.75.
$3.75. Now I'm going to add $1.25 more, and I'm going to get $5. If I add $1.25 more to that, $6.25. And if I add $1.25 to that, my 25 becomes 50, and my dollar. So now I have $7.50. So the total cost of the bottles of juice is $7.50. Okay. Now down at the bottom it poses another question for us. At the bottom of page 148, question 2, it says, what if Jenny says that 12 bottles of juice cost $25? Is Jenny's statement going to be reasonable? 12 bottles, $25. Is that going to be reasonable?
No.
What are we doing if we're buying 12 bottles?
We're estimating.
Estimating, but we're doubling how many bottles we're buying, right? So if we doubled our $7.50, would that be close to $25?
No.
No. What would it be? $15. Okay, so let's write this down in math words. Okay, question 3 at the bottom says, if Nick had $10, how many bottles of juice could he buy? How many more times can we add $1.25 to this $7.50? If we had $7.50 and we added $1.25, what would we be at? 75. If we add another $1.25 to that, we're going to be at $10. So this was 6 bottles, 7 bottles, 8 bottles. So she could buy, or Nick could buy 8 bottles. That's your answer to part 3.